Hi players, bonjour from Paris, my name is Asaf and welcome to my channel Easy Board Games. Today in this monthly video of building my perfect board game collection of 100 games, no more no less, we're going to say goodbye to 4 games. I think it might surprise you a little bit, and we're going to say hello to 4 new ones. Let's start with the first game that you probably never heard of, and that is Theurgy. Theurgy. I have no idea, guys. This is the game. That is actually one of the first, I think, Kickstarters that I got. I didn't back it. I actually found someone that sells it, and it was like the Divine Pledge with all the deluxe components, if you can call them like that. But anyways, I got it. I remember getting a little bit excited to receive it. I got it. I placed it on the table. I played it 2 times, and I'm like, what the hell did I buy? And since then, it was just like on my shelf, and I told myself, should I give this game another chance? I mean, before calling it off for my collection. And it came to a point when I'm like, nope, I think that I have enough games on my shelf of shame that I need to try before giving this one another chance. And in any case, every time that I look at this game and I'm like, do I? No, I do not. And I think that is a pretty good reason to say goodbye to a game. The second game that the physical copy already left my collection is Magna Roma, the deluxe edition with the different add-ons or whatever. Also that I didn't originally back, but I saw it. I saw a post for someone that sells it for relatively cheap to what seems to me a deluxe edition of a game. So I'm like, yeah, I should take it. Just in a few words, Magna Roma is a tile placing game that didn't leave too much of an impression on me. In general, I'm not a tile placing kind of player, so this one did not add something new to the table and really it just left me unimpressed. Now, I want to make a small pause before moving to the next games that are leaving my collection and talk about something. It might be just me, but let me know if it's happening to you also. I think that along the way, with everything that is related crowdfunding, we're a little bit programmed, okay? We're a little bit programmed to have this something in the title that's like, oh, Kickstarter edition, deluxe edition, something that you will not be able to get later. And it kind of popped into my head for 2 reasons. First of all, because of this game and Magna Roma that they're just leaving my collection, even though they're relatively in a good price for a Kickstarter deluxe edition, whatever that means. And also I saw a video, one of the last videos of Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Just a few things that he said over there about prices of Kickstarters that kind of ignited this idea in my head. And the reason I say that I feel like, at least I'm not going to talk for you guys, just for me, that I'm programmed to have this special feeling every time that I see Kickstarter and deluxe and something like that. And I think that, I'm not going to say for all the games, but it feels that for some of the games, when you have so many add-ons and so much deluxification of a game, that it kind of hides the fact that maybe the game itself is not that great. Now, while you're still subscribed to my channel, I'm going to tell you that the thing is, for me, I'm not saying that it's for all the games, okay? That every game that has like an amazing production has to hide something behind it, or just the fact that maybe it's not such a good game. I'll give you another example. For example, Merchants of the Dark Road, if I'm not mistaken, it's called, that I think I got it like in 50 euros, again, the deluxe edition. Production-wise, this game is awesome, okay? You have these carriage miniatures and you have their, I don't know, nice materials. I don't remember anyways what is there, but that game was kind of like a pick up and deliver. And I placed this game, I took a few photos, and then I'm like, you know what? The game over here is not impressive at all. And the same feeling I had with this game, and that I'm just going to stop to try and pronounce whatever that name is, and also Magna Roma. This thing that I'm seeing in different groups or whatever, Kickstarter, GameFound, Special Edition, Deluxe Edition, I'm like, Asaf, this is a lesson for you, okay? You need to calm yourself down. Those are such an impulse buys before I'm actually checking what this game is all about. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you that every time before I'm clicking the back button that I'm actually reading through the rulebook, okay, or watching playthroughs or trying it on TTS. And you all know what of a painful experience I had, like with maybe the flagship of failures that I had in my short history of board games, that is Europa Universalis. Just impulse buys of things that I'm sure if I would have waited a little bit more or just watch 1 or 2 videos about this game, that would have been, wow, this game is really not for me. So some of the games, it's a little bit easier to sell. Requested games like Europa Universalis, that was not such a big deal to sell. Magna Roma, that in the same day I put it for sale, it already goes. I don't think anyone knows this game, and I don't think that anyone will take it. I think at some point I'm just going to give it away to someone. But this is a really good lesson for me, and I hope that you maybe, even though you're smarter than me, you'll be able to learn some sort of a thing from my mistakes and like, before you're pressing the back button, okay? Just watch a little bit of content or read a little bit of content on this game and see if this is something that is really going to enhance your collection in a way of something that you maybe didn't have before. I'm saying this also, and I'm telling you again, I didn't check anything on this game, and I hope that I pronounce it well, Luthier, that is right now going on Kickstarter, I want to say. This game looks very good, okay? But when I'm watching the pledge levels, yeah, you have the basic level for around 100, and then like more fancy edition for 160 something, and then like 200 and something. I'm like, whoa. Those prices are getting high. So I don't know if it's board games in general in the crowdfunding platforms that are just getting absurdly high, okay? I don't think that I'm going to, unless this is a game that is going to be crazy. Oh, and actually, yeah, I'm going to give you an example for a game that actually I backed this month, a little bit later on, that I actually think the price is worth the production. But over here in Luthier, that is, guys, at the end, okay? It's another Euro game. Don't be upset with me, okay? I'm not saying that maybe it's a good Euro. If it's an amazing Euro, if this is the next best thing that happens to the board game world, then great. I'm going to eat my hat and I'm going to buy the most expensive pledge out there. Something tells me that it's maybe going to be a good Euro, but not something that I'll grab my head or pull the hair that I don't have anymore on my head and say like, where was this game like in my life until now? And again, something that Alex Radcliffe said on his channel, Board Game Co, is that it feels again, and pay attention because this is not the first time that someone is comparing a board game of this kind of scale to like a Lacerda game that is just like very beautiful produced, maybe overproduced, but at the end on the second-hand market, today you can buy On Mars for what, 80 euros? At the day you could have backed it for what, 160? Before the tax, wherever you live, here in France it's 20% and the delivery. So this is just something to think about again before you're hitting that back button and or just getting a second-hand copy of something. This is just a mistake that I would like, okay, just don't do it anymore. Anyways, so those are the first 2 games that are leaving my collection. Let's move on to another game that is leaving my collection. It might surprise you because not a long time ago when I did a video for the top 5 board games with a farming theme, I recommended it, and that is Fields of Arle. So this is the game and the expansion actually that I got, both of them, of course, because I need to have everything even before I played 3 times the base game, right? This is, I don't know, is this just like an Asaf thing or is it just out there? You gotta help me out, guys. Now, the reason that I'm selling Fields of Arle, I don't think that this is a bad game at all. I actually think this is a very good game. But it's already sitting on another farming game that I like better, of the same guy, Uwe Rosenberg, and that is Hallertau, which I just prefer more because it's easier to table. This thing to set up is so so uncomfortable, so many tokens, so many boards that you have on the table. This game is not reaching the table. Also, and I know that with the expansion you can play it at 3, but this is more of a 2-player game. And if I'm already looking at my collection about board games that I would like to play at 2, I'm not so sure that Fields of Arle is one of the first, or maybe the first 5 choices that come to my mind. I think that I would rather play other games at 2 players, even if those are not games only for 2 players. If there's for example, Tricarion with the Duel of Magicians, I would rather play than this one, or War Games or whatever. I just found Fields of Arle sitting in a corner, looking nice on the shelf, but this is not the type of player that I would like to be. I prefer not to be a collector, but actually a player. And this is totally a personal choice, and you do you guys, whatever you want. But for me, a game that I don't feel like bringing to the table should not stay in my collection. So that is the second game, actually the third game that is leaving my collection. And the fourth game, I hope you're sitting tight in your chairs, already left my collection, and that is Heroes of Might and Magic, the board game. Now, I did 2 videos on this game of really explanatory how to play, not explanatory how to play, actually it was explanatory playthrough, sorry. Yeah, this game, I played it, I think 3 or 4, actually more 4 or 5 times, and I'll tell you what, guys, it is an exhausting game. What does it mean? First of all, just to start with, I'm a huge fan of the video game, huge. This is a huge part of my childhood, and let's not kid ourselves. I actually played it after I saw that this board game is coming, so I'm like, oh my god, I have to play this game. Downloaded, played it, had a hell of a time. On the table, on the other side, is a completely different story. Now, I think that Arkane Studios did a good job of bringing such a massive game to the table. I'm not saying that this is not the case. I think that if you're a fan of the IP, I think you're going to get here something that you might like, okay? It looks good, the same art, the same design. It's really nice. But for 2 players to play around 3 hours, I don't think that I had a game that took less than that, unless I really rushed my friend to like hurry up with his turns. But I think for 3 hours, this is a little bit too long for what the game truly is. And at the end, there is some sort of not being satisfied feeling, okay? The game always left me unsatisfied. And on top of that, I don't know if to call it I did a mistake, because at the beginning they didn't have a choice of a big box, and when they did have a choice, like you had to buy also the art book, which is something that, you know, just for the point of it, I didn't buy the big box. Also, I thought to myself, you are going to release some expansions, right? So why shouldn't I just wait for the expansions? What, you're not going to have a big box for the expansions as well? They said they will not do a big box that will be able to have the expansions as well. First of all, it already seems a little bit weird for me. What, you're going to have like all the games that went until now in a big box, and then for 3 other factions, what, you're going to have 3 separate boxes? Something there I didn't like. So I didn't get the big box. And then actually what happens, this is why I'm not so sure if it was a mistake or wasn't. You need to open like 7 boxes to have all the rule books, to have all the different tiles shuffled or something, just to start the game. Then you see a building that you're not sure what the building is. Then you need to look through 4 or 5 rule books until you're seeing what is this building. Now, maybe the way that I make it sound is terrible, and it's not that terrible. Okay, let's say that it's very uncomfortable, okay? To open so many boxes just to have another mini, or just to have more cards, and all the cards cannot go back to the core box, so you need to divide them, separate them, and then it's so much work for a game that at the end is an okay game. I don't think that's something more than that. I had a good time with it. I think that relatively to the production value, the price is totally okay for what we backed in Kickstarter. I was super happy with the level of production. I was blown away. I was blown away. But if you're at the end, you're not enjoying the game, then I think that it's time to say goodbye. Needless to say that it was super easy to sell it because this game is really on a high demand out there. But at least it left me more money to spend on different games that I'm going to present to you right now. Starting with the first game that actually came today on the 23rd of July, and that is a new Kickstarter that is called Crown of Ash. So I got the deluxe edition. Speaking of buying deluxes thing, what is this game about? I'm not so sure, guys. I'm not so sure because this was still in the period of time where I'm just like, hey, looks okay. I'm going to back it. Yes, it's true that there is something in me that actually likes to help. Or to support first-time or new publishers. This is something that I personally find it something good to do. Not so sure what this game is all about, but I'm going to give it a chance and see how it goes. The next game that is joining my collection, and I'm actually going to say that it's more an expansion, even though it's a standalone game. Now, hear me out. Dark Ages, a Heritage of Charlemagne, is something that I already have in my collection, and I enjoy it a lot. I cannot explain to you how much I enjoy this game. This game is hitting my table so very often, and it's really came to a point when I'm like, you know what? I want to see what this game has to offer in its full potential. So if you don't know, both of the Dark Ages were released at the same time on Kickstarter as two standalone games that if you're flipping the board and you're merging the games, you're having one massive board game for up to 8 players. This is something that I would really like to see because I love the flow of the game. It's just action after action, noble after noble. I just did a how to play for Dark Ages Heritage of Charlemagne, so feel free to check that out. But oh my God, I'm so excited to try this. This is still in shrink, as you can see, but this is something that I'm going to do hopefully soon enough to have at least 6 or 7 players to unlock the full potential of Dark Ages. And I have a good feeling about it, but for sure, after I'm going to do this, I'm going to do a mega review for both of the copies, and I'll be more than happy to share it with you. The next game that is joining my collection, now let me do a quick cut and say that I know I promised you a War of the Ring, how to play. The learning curve is a little bit steeper than I thought, so I'm almost there. This game is actually under the table, under the first level of the table, ready. So I just need to play it at least one time to make sure that I'm understanding all the rules. But I already saw that this game looks so cool, and because it's so similar to Dune War for Arrakis, then I'm like, you know what? I really like the IP of Lord of the Rings. Let's get War of the Ring, the card game. So I just hope that the title is what it says it is. So the same War of the Ring, or at least maybe not so immersive, but still gives you pretty much the same feeling, just in a smaller package with just cards. I'm okay with that. I'm willing to try that. So that's another game that joined to my collection. If we're already in Lords of the Rings, Middle-earth Quest. Now, where did this all start from? So the thing is that I told you I want to compare between a War of the Ring and Dune War for Arrakis. And then I'm like, okay, I got this one. And then I'm like, wait, if I'm already comparing between these two, maybe it will be great to compare between a War of the Ring and Middle-earth Quest, since they look a little bit similar. And I think that will be cool to compare between them. And I don't know what do I have with out-of-print Fantasy Flight games. I don't know. But this is something that I decided to acquire. Also, it actually cost me 40 euros in a relatively good condition. So this is something that I'm happy to have right now. It will take for me a little bit more time to bring this game to the table, but it will be there. And if we're already talking about Fantasy Flight games and out of print, even though I think it's going to maybe come soon for a reprint, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's just something that I saw and I'm mistaken. And if we're already talking about comparing between War of the Ring and War for Arrakis, then why not add this one to the equation as well? And that is Star Wars Rebellion with the expansion that is already integrated in the box. I think I got both of them for I want to say 130 euros. I'm not so sure, but this is something else that is joining my collection. Now, I had someone, I think his name is Ron, saying like, listen, don't confuse your audience and say that War of the Ring is equal War for Arrakis, equal Star Wars Rebellion, even though all the three of them are basically games that are telling a story and are war games. This is something completely different. I'm not sure, I don't know, because I haven't played it yet, but this is something to keep in mind. So maybe this is something that I'm going to add to the video, that comparing between War of the Ring and War for Arrakis. I'll have to see. So I'll keep you posted with that. And that's it for this part of the video of games that are entering my collection and games that are leaving my collection. The next thing that I would like to share with you, of course, as a monthly thing, is I'll be backing, which is which game did I back this month. And this month, unfortunately, the campaign already finished, but that is Imperial Borders. Now, the designer is the legendary designer of Axis and Allies, so I don't think that you need to hear about him from me. But in any case, this game, which is, of course, again, the same designer as War Room, this is a huge game, okay, from what I saw, and I did see a little bit of videos, and I did read what's going on over there, the rulebook, and I'm like, you know what, I want to get this. Is this game expensive? It is expensive. Even though delivery is already included, this is still something that is around, if I'm not mistaken, after 20% tax will be around 300 euros. That is a lot of money for a game. First of all, I think that it will hold its value. So even if I will not enjoy this game, I still think that I'll be able to sell it relatively without losing too much money. That's, first of all, just to stay a little bit safe. Second thing, this game looks exactly in my alley. I read the rulebook, doesn't seem so complicated. There are some moving parts over there, but it seems cool. What I liked over there, that it's a war game that you're going to plan your actions in advance, and then you're going to execute all together. What I liked in this is that it's a free for all. You can have a player versus a player, where each player is going to control two factions just to have some things on the board. But here you're going to have an option to have multiple players fighting against each other in this scenario. I don't want to say imaginary, because we all know that it is not. But in case of that, all the countries in Europe, or some of the empires in Europe, are actually in war. So this is a game that I'm excited about. I can't wait to bring it to the table, do an unboxing for you guys, how to play, maybe even an explanatory playthrough. I'll keep you posted about that as well. And that's it, you guys, for the next month, what is going to happen, or in a few more updates, if you allow me. So again, I'm going to try as hard as I can to bring you War of the Ring, how to play. Also, there is going to, I'm also going to pay a debt that it's long overdue, and that is a Flying Gang, how to play. I finished editing. I'm just waiting for Dirk, the designer, to tell me if he's okay with this. And then just I'm going to release the video. And also Tim Eisner, the designer of Wonderland's War and March of the Ants, sent me a prototype of March of the Ants Evolved Edition. So I'm not so sure, it depends on when I'm going to release this video. Maybe March of the Ants How to Play is already on my channel, or it's going to come over here soon. But this is something that is going to happen in the next few days, or worst case, in the beginning of August. Again, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for my 3 members on my channel. The last one, Mayan Asiskovich, thank you so much for joining in. I truly appreciate it. Take care, and I'll see you next time.